You've been grinding for weeks, months, maybe even years. You've put in the hours, the sweat, the focus, and yet it feels like you're standing in the same place, like you've hit a wall that refuses to budge. Progress slows, motivation dips, and every effort starts to feel pointless. But here's the truth. Plateaus aren't signs of failure. They're signs of transformation. They're the moments that separate those who stay stuck from those who find a way to level up. And today, we're going to explore exactly how to break through, push past that invisible ceiling, and unlock a new level of your game, whatever that game happens to be. Think about it for a moment. Every champion, every expert, every top performer has been there. They've faced that frustrating plateau, staring at the same results despite doing everything right. The difference isn't luck or talent. It's strategy, mindset, and the willingness to evolve when the old ways stop working. So let's dive into what that evolution looks like. Imagine a runner. For months, they've been improving steadily, cutting seconds off their mile time. Then suddenly, it stops. No matter how much they train, the results stagnate. They start questioning themselves. Are they pushing hard enough? Are they even capable of more? Here's where most people get trapped. They double down on the same routines, thinking more effort equals more results. But the body and the mind are smarter than that. Sometimes, breaking a plateau isn't about working harder. It's about working differently. And this applies to anything. Your craft, your skills, your career, your fitness, your creativity. It all follows a similar pattern. Growth happens in waves, and plateaus are just the quiet, invisible waves before the next surge. What if I told you that the key to breaking a plateau isn't about doing more? It's about shifting in a way most people never even consider. It's subtle, it's psychological, and yet, when done correctly, it can spark a breakthrough that feels almost instant. First, let's take a moment to understand what a plateau really is. A plateau happens when your current methods stop producing proportional results. Your brain and body get efficient at what you've been doing, and growth slows. It's nature's way of saying, you've learned this, now it's time to evolve. The tricky part is, plateaus can feel discouraging. They create tension between the effort you're putting in and the results you see. And that tension can lead to frustration, self-doubt, and sometimes even giving up. But what if you reframed it? Instead of seeing a plateau as a roadblock, think of it as a checkpoint, a signal that your system is ready for the next level. Your foundation is solid, your habits are built, and now the challenge is to expand your strategy. Breaking through isn't about brute force. It's about understanding the dynamics of growth and applying them intelligently. One of the most overlooked aspects of overcoming a plateau is reflection. Take a step back and analyze your progress, not just your actions, but your mindset, routines, and even your environment. Sometimes subtle adjustments make a huge difference. Maybe you've been practicing the same technique over and over without variation. Introducing small changes can shake up your neural pathways and reignite growth. Or perhaps your environment is influencing your energy more than you realize. The people you surround yourself with, the space you work in, the time of day you tackle your craft. All of these can either reinforce your plateau or help you break it. Here's something fascinating. Some studies suggest that growth is less about consistency alone and more about intentional challenge. That means the plateau isn't the enemy, it's a signal to experiment, to stretch beyond your comfort zone, to approach the game in a way that scares you a little. Mindset is another crucial factor. The plateau often tests your patience and belief. Are you committed to growth even when progress isn't obvious? Are you willing to embrace discomfort because you know it precedes improvement? Some experts argue that mindset isn't just about staying positive, it's about strategic adaptation. It's about observing your own patterns, noticing where you're stagnating, and being flexible enough to pivot. Think of it like climbing a mountain. Sometimes the trail is smooth and fast. Other times you hit a rocky patch where each step feels like a struggle. The key is to keep moving, adjusting your approach and trusting that the summit is still reachable. And here's a subtle truth many people overlook. Plateaus aren't permanent. They're temporary stages, and with the right strategies, you can accelerate past them faster than you might imagine. So what does leveling up actually look like in practice? It starts with a shift in perspective. Instead of measuring success solely by output, measure it by input quality, strategy, and adaptability. Next, experiment. Introduce variation to your routines, push boundaries in controlled ways. Train your mind to approach challenges differently. Sometimes even a small change in technique or mindset can trigger exponential improvement. Also, don't underestimate the power of recovery. Overworking in a plateau phase can reinforce stagnation. Strategic rest, reflection, and deliberate planning are what often lead to breakthroughs. Think of it as sharpening your tools instead of swinging harder. At this point, you might be wondering, this all sounds great, but how do I know if I'm really ready to level up? The answer lies in curiosity. If you feel frustrated, challenged, or even slightly uncomfortable, that's exactly where growth lives. That tension between where you are and where you want to be is your guide. Lean into it, and the plateau becomes a springboard. Consider some of the world's most successful figures. They didn't hit mastery without plateaus. They hit them constantly. The difference was their response. They treated each plateau as a puzzle rather than a punishment. They observed, adjusted, experimented, and persisted. And over time, those incremental changes compounded into massive leaps forward. The plateau is not the enemy, it's a teacher. And the more you respect what it's showing you, the faster you can move to the next level. Here's a deeper insight. Growth isn't linear. It rarely is. Sometimes it feels like you're taking 2 steps forward and 1 step back. Other times it feels like no steps at all. But every plateau, every pause is an opportunity to refine your approach, build resilience, and prepare for the next surge. Imagine looking back a year from now. Think about the skills you could have sharpened, the habits you could have built, and the mindset you could have strengthened if you treated your plateau not as a failure, but as a turning point. That single shift in perception could change everything. Growth is often uncomfortable because it forces you to confront what you don't know, what you haven't mastered, and what you might be avoiding. But discomfort is temporary. The breakthroughs that follow are lasting, and the sense of accomplishment, of finally leveling up, is unlike anything else. So how do you take action right now? Begin by asking yourself 3 simple questions. Where am I stuck? What small change can I make today that challenges this stagnation? And what can I reflect on that might reveal patterns I've been overlooking? From there, experiment. Adjust your routines, test new strategies, seek feedback, and observe the results. Remember, a plateau isn't a wall, it's a mirror, showing you where adaptation is needed. And every small, intentional adjustment moves you closer to breaking through. Final hook. Here's the ultimate truth. The plateau is not your limit. Your limits exist only where you allow them to. Each challenge, each pause, each moment of frustration is a stepping stone. And when you embrace the process, when you meet the plateau with curiosity and strategy instead of frustration and doubt, you discover not just growth in your game, but growth in yourself. If you've ever felt stuck, frustrated, or unsure of your next move, take a moment to breathe and remind yourself that this phase is not permanent. What feels like a standstill is often just a quiet period of preparation. Growth does not always announce itself with loud breakthroughs or dramatic changes. Sometimes it happens beneath the surface, where patience, reflection, and deliberate planning quietly shape the path forward. The plateau you're experiencing is not a sign of failure. It's a sign that you're in the middle of a process that requires time and persistence. During these moments, it's important to step back and evaluate rather than react with frustration. Reflect on what you've learned so far, the progress you've already made, and the tools you have at your disposal. Often, the answers you're looking for are already within your reach. You simply need to pause long enough to see them clearly. This is your opportunity to experiment with new approaches, refine your strategies, and adapt to what the situation demands. Remember that progress is rarely a straight line. There will be pauses, detours, and moments of doubt. What matters is your willingness to keep moving forward, even when the pace feels slow. Trust in your mindset, your resilience, and your ability to overcome challenges. Use this time to strengthen your foundation so that when momentum returns, you're ready to rise to the next level with confidence and clarity. Keep pushing forward. The plateau is temporary, but the growth you gain from navigating it will stay with you long after you've moved beyond it. If this message resonated with you, take a moment to like the video. It helps us reach others who might be stuck too. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future insights that can help you grow, and share your thoughts in the comments. What plateau are you facing right now, and how are you planning to break through? I'd love to hear your story. Because at the end of the day, growth isn't just about reaching the next level. It's about learning to rise every time life tests you. And when you do, the game changes forever.